Yes. We weren't born to follow. Come on and get up off your knees. When life is a bitter pill to swallow, you got to hold on to what you believe, said legendary rocker Bon Jovi. What's up, Joe?
Another Friday night. Excited to be here. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing good. Hello, Indie Escapers. This is the Industry Outlaws United, IOU for short. Thank you for whoever's here. Thank you, Joe. You ready for Cocoa Beach?
I am excited for Cocoa Beach. For those of you who don't know, I will be at the Horrorville Horror Paranormal Convention and Trade Show this weekend in Cocoa Beach, Florida. It is Saturday and Sunday. Come on out. Bunch of cool guests out there.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. I know you got Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, a whole lot of other cool guests. So
absolutely. It's going to be fun.
Awesome.
And the other thing going on this week, for those who aren't aware, from the Indie Escape, we have CJ Robles. I can't roll my he gets on me every time about pronouncing his name. So CJ with guest Steve Gray, who's actually going to, in its entirety, share Bestial with everyone. He's been doing chapter by chapter. So it's going to be a live event. That ought to be fun. Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. What's up, CJ? Thanks for coming, brother.
Hey, that's the guy I was just talking about that I can't roll my
Yes. All right, Joe. So let's get right into it tonight. Can we play the video for our guest, please?
Absolutely. Man, one of these days I'm going to have to get a camera and show you the reactions from your guests, because there's some facial reactions there that are just like, terrified, and then some that are, yeah, yeah. But
Awesome, awesome. Well, without further ado, our guest for the night, actress, producer, just one of the brightest stars out there, in my opinion, Edy Ganem. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I wish you would record that without like telling the guests because I sat there and I was like, oh, and then, oh, I don't remember that. And then, oh my God, I remember that. And it was like a memory, like a trip down memory lane. And it was pretty cool. Like, I definitely think you should record people like watching that.
We're gonna figure out a way to do that, Joe.
it's going to be done.
Awesome, awesome. How are you, Edy? Thank you for joining
I'm
us.
good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here and catch
Awesome,
up.
awesome. How's the weather in Cali?
I mean, you know what? I cannot ever complain because it's the most beautiful weather ever. And regardless, I'm like sitting here, like, look,
Awesome. All right,
wearing
so
like
all right, so we got to get into the first piece of business we got to get into. Edy, where does Edy come from? Because I know your real name, you can tell the audience, but let us know straight off the bat. Like, tell us about where Edy.
so yeah, it's a quick story. I mean, my name, well, maybe it's not so quick, but I'll be quick. My dad loves this singer from Spain, and he has a song for a girl. Her name is Edurne, and so he loved that name, and he decided to name me, after that song. It's one of his favorite singers, and so he named me that. But it's like the weirdest name ever. It's literally from this like small region in Spain, from the Basque region, so it's in a whole different language. And so it's really hard to pronounce. It's really hard to remember. It's like people are like, Edu what? Like, and anyway, when I was in high school, I used to be in the tennis team, and one of my really good friends just decided to name me Edy. She was like, I'm just gonna call you Edy, and she was literally the only one who used to call me that. So I didn't really have like any other nicknames. But when I moved to LA, I signed with my managers, who are still my managers, and I love them, Laura and Mel. And they asked, do you have a nickname or something easier so that people can call you and remember you easier? And so I told them, and they were like, let's go for it, let's try it. And ever since then, it just stuck.
Awesome, awesome. It works. It works. Yeah. So, Devious Maids, the role of Valentina came to you. That's your first big break, correct?
Yeah. I mean, before that, everything that I had done was so small compared to it, like indie films and student films. And then I think I had been in LA for 5 years, and then I had just signed with my managers that I'm telling you about. And that was one of the very first auditions that they sent me out to, if not my first one. And I went in and I just kind of had the call back that same day and met producer Mark Cherry, and then I was like testing for it, and I didn't even know what any of that was because I had never tested for a TV show before. So I was blessed because I wasn't like as nervous as I would have been. Now I know what it means, like how it changes your life. And so I was just, going with the flow, and I did this thing, and then I booked it, and it changed my life.
Awesome. And you were amazing in it. Yes. So did you always want to be an actress, even from a little girl?
I don't think so. I think it was one of the things that maybe was like as an option. And I think I did talk about it with my friends, because I sometimes they tell me, and they're like, yeah, I used to say you wanted to be an actress. But I just remember when I was little, I remember playing like being like a doctor, or being like a circus performer, or like a ballerina, all these things that you think when you're a little girl. But then once I was like in high school, I think that's what I wanted to do. But I'm a Virgo, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I also am very like a planner, like a very responsible. And so I like went to college for something else and kind of had to have like a career. And then I was like, now I'm going to try this crazy thing,
Yeah.
So then I went for it.
Awesome. So having your first big break on a huge network television show, did you feel a heavy amount of pressure working along the likes of Susan Lucci and Rosalind Sanchez and a lot of veteran actors? Did you feel that to start out, or did you kind of run into it smoothly?
I think it was so smooth for me in a very good way, because all the other ladies were so welcoming, so warm, so willing to help and teach. Like, I mean, Danya like embraced me. Like, she literally would like, you know, if I had any questions, she was just like so willing to answer. And all the other girls too, but you know, they all had kids and stuff, so it was easier to like, you know, hang out with Danya. And like even Susan Lucci, when I met her, the day I met Susan Lucci, I remember that day. And we even that same day we were like rehearsing some scenes, and she's like crawling on the floor, like doing this like scene that's supposed to go, you know, under the bed. And I was like, wow, she's going for it. But anyway, when I met her, she literally came up to me and she's like, it's such an honor or pleasure, I can't remember, to work with you. And I was like, okay, no, it's the other way around. Like, I can't believe that she's saying that to me. Like, she's just the sweetest woman ever. So
very awesome.
It was kind of very relaxing for me to go into it, but I did feel the pressure of like, when the scenes had to have like more comedy to them, sometimes I wasn't sure if I was giving enough, you know, because I hadn't ever done a lot of comedy in my life. It was more like drama that I was used to and I felt comfortable with. Like I can always bring that emotion and, you know, like, so I knew that I had that in me, but the comedy, when it's like mixed like that, you know, and especially when Mark Cherry would be on the set, I remember I would be a little bit like, oh my God, you know, like, am I doing this right? Or come and give me a note. And I would kind of worry a little bit that I wasn't doing or giving what he wanted. So that's when I did feel the pressure, but you know, I think it's just a normal process. Then, you know, then he would come and be like, and I never forget these moments because they're so special. And it was at the very beginning too, where he came and he's like, and that's why you're the lead or one of the leads, you know, because I did something that he liked. And so it's like, okay, they give you notes, but that's because they want to see something different. And then you give them something they really like and they praise you for it. So, you know, it's like, and I was like, okay, I'm doing good. So self-talk, you know, like myself, like I got this. And I, you know, and of course I was learning so much from all of them. So it was definitely a blessing for me that I felt like I was thrown into something, but I was able to just like learn so much from everyone.
Awesome. So I read the other day that there's some outlaw in you because you used to ride motorcycles pretty frequently.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I feel like I don't even know who I am. Like ever since I can remember, I'm like, I look back at pictures of me and I'm like, what am I thinking? Like I dress like a goth, I dress like a this, and I'm just like, it's like I was trying to figure out who I was all this time. And maybe I'm trying to figure it out. But you know, the motorcycles, I've always been so into motorcycles. I love, you know, if I would be driving and one would pass me by and just be like, and my heart would just start racing. So yeah, when I moved here to LA, I decided to go and get my driver's license and I got a motorcycle. And
what'd you ride?
It was a Yamaha Virago, the first one I had. And that motorcycle, I had, you know, all the confidence in the world, but then I did some small, stupid, slow turn and the motorcycle dropped. It's so heavy I couldn't, and it kind of hurt my ankle. Like literally, like the injury is so stupid, like nothing. But I'm like so scared of hurting myself. Like I have like a phobia, I think, for, you know, like injuring because I'm so clumsy. So ever since that happened, and I still got a motorcycle after that. I got a Honda CBR. I don't even remember. I'm not very knowledgeable, but it was a smaller Honda bike, street bike. And I got that bike and I just had like zero confidence since that, you know, and I just didn't ride it as much. I didn't enjoy it as much. And then I got pregnant, I got rid of it, but I still go, like my heart still goes fast when I see a motorcycle pass me by. And if they like do a trick or something, you know, I don't know.
There you go. It's still in you. You know, if the Mayans MC calls, then hey, you might have to get back on it.
Oh my God, I've auditioned for that show quite a few times. I know the show, the creator and everything, and he's always like, we have to find you a part here. And I'm just like, well, maybe it'll be this one. Just like,
there you go.
It hasn't been the right part. It's gonna be one where I ride a motorcycle. Like most people.
What's up, Joe?
I had my mute button on. I do apologize. It may be time to get a trike instead. Maybe 3 wheels is better than one.
Speaking of that, any embarrassing stories from TV or from film that you care to share with our audience?
Oh my God, embarrassing.
You said you're clumsy, so there has to
I
be
am so
something.
clumsy. I mean, I always hurt myself. I feel like now I started to like, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna change my mentality, you know, and I'm gonna start like saying like I used to hurt myself. And so luckily in the last few productions I've done, I haven't hurt myself. But honestly, before that, I just always did. But I can't think of like a really embarrassing story. I don't really have one. I mean, I have
Well, that's good. That's good.
I have embarrassing things that have happened to me before that were just like random or whatever, but on set, nothing crazy really that I can remember. I mean, I've hurt myself, but it was just like not embarrassing. I don't know. I was just like,
Awesome. Okay, that's good. That's good. You have all your limbs. You didn't drop anything on and spill anything on a co-actor or
hurt
anything like that.
someone
Yeah,
or
there you
completely
go.
forgot my line. I'm trying to think if there's something where I'm just like, what is going on with you? I mean, also the fact that like I have a high tolerance for like being embarrassed. Like really bad things could happen and I could be like, well, you know, it's life. Kind of like I'm just like
We got a comment for you, Eddie, from CJ Robles. He's another one of our amazing Indie Escape podcasters that his show's on
oh
Monday night.
cool.
He's asking, I'm watching Useless Humans and it's so good. You play a strong character as Chum. I'm enjoying your performance. Bravo.
Oh my god, that one was a fun one. Yeah.
Speak a little bit about that one. I'm not as familiar with that one yet. I've seen a few of the other things, but what is that, a
That's
comedy?
yes, that's a comedy and I play like ex-military type, um very strong female. I had never played a role like that before, so when they told me about this script, I was just excited to go for it and dive into it. Also because I got to kind of have fun with the character. You know, mostly I get to play like kind of this straight, not straight. I mean, not really always because Anna Maria was kind of like clumsy and
Hmm.
funky like that. So I did get to have a lot of fun there. But I just felt with this one it was more broad because I was more of a supporting character
Mm.
and you know, it was this like ex-military lesbian, and I was just like, I feel like people have never seen me this way before.
Yeah.
So so it was just cool to like represent that, you know, and try to be like as in a comedy, having fun with it, but to like also kind of honor what it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like about an alien, and I mean, it's pretty out there. It's pretty funny.
So
Definitely a good.
speaking so speaking of Anna Maria in Novella Land, you worked again aside some amazing talent. Some of my favorite in the late Elizabeth Pena and Luis Guzman and
Yes.
Nestor Serrano. Speak about that process. Did you enjoy that film?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like going back to, you know, that video that you guys played at the beginning where it just kind of brings me back to, you know, just the fact that I've been so blessed and to be able to work with people that I admire, you know,
Mhm.
that you go and then you learn from that. Um, it's kind of surreal because you grow up and you're watching movies, you know, and then some movies become your favorite movies. Some movies allow you to escape. Some movies teach you. I was always really bad with history. So through some films, I've actually been able to understand history better. So anyway, like, you know, these movies, you hold them dear to your heart. And then there are certain people that play certain characters. For example, Luis Guzman, one of my favorite movies is The Count of Monte Cristo. So I didn't know when I signed on to do Anna Maria, like who the rest of the cast was going to be. And when I found out that he was in it, I literally was just like, okay, calm down.
That's
I can't believe
amazing.
this. So doing that movie was so fun. The director, Georgina Garcia Rydell, she gave me so much freedom um, to explore the characters and to just be as big as I wanted or as crazy as I wanted. So it was such a great experience. And then sharing the experience with, you know, the people that I got to work with and still be friends with them. You know, the girl that played my sister, Mercedes Mason, she's the funniest girl ever. Luis Guzman and I are still in touch. We're still friends, and Michael Steger and his wife, and it's you become friends, and you just then look back, and it's like, wow, it's so
It's good.
comforting.
Yeah, we spoke about that on the pre-interview. Yeah, it's good to stop sometimes and realize the blessings. And even though we have such lofty goals moving forward, it's
Yeah,
good to look back and realize how far we've come and the different
exactly.
good experiences that we've had. So yeah, that sounds like an
Yeah, because
amazing one.
I feel like it's easy to focus sometimes on where you want to go, and like, oh, I am not where I want to be, and I want to achieve more, and I think that's great. You always, it's a go-getter mentality, and I really respect that, and I identify with that. I always, I have like big dreams, and I want to get them. But then it's just so important to really always look back and acknowledge, and endow all those things that you have achieved, because it's important to know that if you have been working hard, you have been showing results. And so it's just something that I think it's for anyone and everyone to have more pride, and even just, I guess, the positive energy towards keep, for the future, to know that you have been achieving, you have been creating what you have been desiring all along. So it's just a matter of keep going. And it's, I don't know,
Absolutely.
it's also like, as I get older too, it's just like you visualize where you want to be or where you want to go. But it's like one of my acting coaches, Anthony Meindl, and everyone it's make an emphasis on this, but it's so true that as you enjoy what you're doing, enjoy the journey. The journey is what really matters. It's not like you get to where you think your goal is, but it's like then there's the next goal, and there's always the next goal. So it's just like you might as well just really just enjoy the ride. And I know we hear that all the time, and it sounds like cliche, but like it's so true.
It is, and it's very true, definitely. Many of us don't. It took me a long time to realize that I'm blessed to do this. I could be doing a lot of other things that weren't as cool. So
Yeah.
yes. So there's a question again from CJ. Do you prefer to act in English or in Spanish? Have you done a full film and some stuff in fully in Spanish here, or?
I haven't. I mostly have worked here,
Mhm.
and mostly it's been in English. If you would have asked me this question a few years ago, I think I would have said in Spanish, because I don't know why. I think even just sometimes the emotions. I mean, I think it's a perfect example. Sometimes if you watch like Penelope Cruz, like if you watch her performance in Spanish or in English, and it's like, I mean, in Spanish, it just seems so powerful. I don't know anymore, because I used to feel that way. If it was in Spanish, I could, it was easier for me to remember lines in Spanish and memorize them. Now I think I've done it for so many years in English that I am so used to it. I feel like I can just do either or, which I'm blessed, because it definitely is, I think, an extra thing to bring to the table if you are, from any ethnicity. And I think it's the perfect time right now to just keep embracing where you come from, who you are, if you're unique in any and every, and everyone has something unique about themselves. So if you bring that and you embrace that, I think it's what's going to make you special, and that you have to just be who you are. So yeah, now
Beautifully stated.
I feel like I'm happy to do either or.
Beautifully stated. Beautifully stated. So you were cast and you were directed by another great, and Bill Duke, in the amazing film Created Equal, where you played opposite again an amazing cast of talent. Just give us a little bit about that experience to be directed by who I consider a legend in Bill, and just working with the amazing cast that you worked with on that film.
It's funny for me because I'm like incredibly ignorant. Okay. So my ignorance has been like my blessing in so many ways when it comes to the acting, because you put people in front of me who I don't know who they are. And if I knew who they are, I think I would like freak out and be like, oh my God, like I'm auditioning for this person, or whatever, like or recognizing people, like I'm just so bad, so I'm just gonna go back really quick. When I auditioned for Devious Mates, I had not watched Desperate Housewives. I didn't know who Mark Cherry was. I didn't know who the director of the pilot was. So I'm there with them, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. then later, once I booked the show before we started filming, I was like, you know what? I should watch this show. So I watched all of Desperate Housewives, and then I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm now working for the same person who did this show. Like, what? But I had already booked it, you know? So I was like, okay, safe. Had I known before, I probably would have freaked out. So then when I auditioned for Bill Duke, I didn't know who he was. Like I hadn't. I know.
Shame on you.
I know. And I've told him this, and he's just like, oh my God. But I hadn't watched, like, you know, I hadn't seen Predator. I hadn't seen so many of his. I just
Hoodlum. Yes. He's
I know.
just amazing.
I know. I'm like, it's like, what? Get out of here. But I just literally, like, you know, growing up, I grew up in Mexico, so I literally hadn't. That's why I also wasn't good with the comedy world, because you grow up here watching certain comedies and you know the style, you know how things flow, you know, if you speak the language too, the jokes, the inner jokes, not inner jokes, but like I don't even know what the word is right now. I can't even think for, you know, when you grow up in a different country, you speak a different language, then you learn English, but then there are like things that you're like, what does that mean when people So all these things that I had to like learn. And so a few of these things were like, you know, even like some actors and whatnot. So when I auditioned for Bill Duke, literally I was just like, who is this really big man? He seems so scary, intimidating, because he was just so quiet in his eyes and he was just looking, and I was just like, holy crap, you know. But he is so nice and so easy to work with because he's also an actor. It was such a relief of an experience to work with a director that actually understands you as an actor. And it was so impressive because, I mean, how old is he? Like, he was so on top of his game with like the pages of the script. And like, if you remember, he would just go like, okay, we're about to shoot this scene, Edy. Remember what just happened. You just came from, and he was just like, the script, you know, the script was like, and you know, sometimes you don't need anyone to remind you these things if you do your homework, but sometimes you're in the middle of like shooting scene after scene after scene after scene. And the fact that he would stop and remind you and work with you and just, I think it's even the language that somebody uses sometimes that you can just like understand, you know, as an actor, because you have directors that, oh no, but you know, can you please be a little bit less of that so you can be some more of that? And you're just like,
That's why I'm glad I started out as an actor, because it has helped me. Just there's a different shorthand speak that actors understand, and as opposed to, hey, you just do a dramatic scene crying and then they're like, cut. Okay, let's pick that up from the cry. And they don't understand that it takes an actor a little bit of like, a process, hold on, let's build it up.
But you know, but yes, working with him was just really amazing. He's a very kind man. He's so funny too. He has so many stories. Like if I told you the stories that he would tell, and I was just like, what? Anyway, it's just so, you know, I love what I do. I think that everyone should. It's a blessing to find in life what makes you happy. You know, I can't imagine doing something that I don't enjoy every day, waking up to knowing that I'm gonna go and do something I don't want to do. So it's just a blessing because, you know, you get to meet so many people and go to so many places.
Yeah. So speaking of that blessing, we talked prior to this about your stint on The Neighborhood, and you said you enjoyed that process in that comedy show. Just speak briefly about that process opposite Max Greenfield.
Oh, well, that is a whole other experience as well, because I was like, okay, comedy multicam now, you know, so it's like, okay, I haven't done this. I had done one episode a long time ago, so I was like, it doesn't count. And then I was like, okay, when I had my first child, I sat there and binge watched New Girl, and I just literally was like, who is this guy? You know, Max Green. He was just so brilliant. He became for me like my top person to look at for like comedy. I was just like, this guy, you know, there was a scene one time, I can't remember the episode, where like I think somebody grabs his towel and he just freaks out about it, like, it was his towel, how could you, like, you know, his roommates or something, and the stakes are so high and you're like, it's the end of the world, you know. And he's just so brilliant. And then next thing you know, I am doing a scene with him, and I am so like, I literally have no filter. So we're sitting there between scenes, just like waiting for whatever. He's like playing his guitar. I don't know why he brought his guitar. It was not part of the scene. And he's just like playing it and whatever. I'm just like sitting there and I'm just like, okay, I just have to tell you, just so you know, you're like the king of comedy for me. Like I'm literally like fangirling you right now. Like I seriously like, you know, you're like the master of comedy for me. And he was just so humble. And so it just feels like really small accomplishments for me to be like, well, I have worked with, you know, this person and this person and this person, people that I looked up to.
That's
yeah.
truly, it is truly a blessing.
That might be an embarrassing moment. Not the fact that I said that, but like the scene that I did with Max Greenfield is like it's a scene where I laugh like a crazy person, like worse than Janice from Friends.
Oh, okay.
And I had to do it so many times. And I literally was like a psycho laughing person. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But that was my character. So
well, there you go. There you go. So you put your EP hat on, executive producer, for all those that might be wondering what I was talking about, for the action film Free, Dead or Alive. So did you get to kick some butt in this film? And if you did, get to explain that process, because that's something that I have not seen this film yet, but that's something I'm looking forward to seeing you do.
Hopefully soon. I mean, it started to already go around the festival circuit, and we already won some awards, which has been amazing. And it just feels good to know that the film's starting to get recognition. I did kick some butt. It was really life-changing for me. I didn't know it was going to be so fun to, you watch all these action movies and it's so badass and it's fun and you enjoy the action scenes, Fast and the Furious, whatever, right? But then I had to train here in LA with a stunt actress. She's amazing, Michelle Lee, and she taught me how to use the knife, how to do all these like fight scenes and sequences. And then I showed up, and when we were doing them for real, like action, and we would go through them with all the actors, and I had this adrenaline rush that I can't even explain to you. And I was just like, okay, this is amazing. This is definitely something I want to do more of. And I think it's exciting in life when, you know, you think you've done things, you think you've tried everything, you show up to the set, you know what you're doing, you know what to expect. You're like, okay, you know, now this role. And then suddenly something changes your life or you learn something new. And that is so exciting. I mean, I don't know. I just feel that I see that in my children, you know, like every day something is so cool and exciting. And it's like, what is that? And you're just like, oh my God, I don't have that anymore. I'm such a boring adult. Like, I've seen it all. I've done it all. Like, why nothing is so cool anymore? You know, and then when as an adult, you suddenly have a moment like that. It's just like, oh my God, like, okay, cool. I'm still alive.
So did motherhood change your perspective on the business? And like, I mean, how is having these beautiful children, how did that change did it shape you in a different manner? I know you said you got rid of the motorcycle, and did you see life any differently having these two little
Oh
ones?
my goodness, so many ways. I almost can't even like think right now. I'm like about to explode with like things, but like so many changes when you have children. I think the biggest one has been how it's so hard. Like it's so difficult. I mean, it could be so easy, but my son, it's a challenge. So, you know, like patience and it's insane how you like discover. I mean, I have siblings, so I already knew how love can be so interesting when you like fight with your siblings and you're like, I hate you, and you think you're not gonna talk to them, and then you literally just forget about it and talk to them like 3 minutes later, and you're like, oh wow. But like with your children, it's like, oh my God, like you're so tired and exhausted, but you love them so much you can't bear the idea of anything happening to them. It's like a part of you, you can't. And so now it's almost like my life is not really mine anymore, because sometimes if I'm in an airplane and I literally feel like, I hope, you know, like if I'm scared of like flying or whatever, like I hope I don't die. I don't even care that I die like for myself. I just don't want to die for my children. Like I don't want them to not have a mom. Like I've had nightmares. I had a nightmare one time that I like fell off a cliff with some car, and I literally, my fear was like, no, my children. Like not like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Well, that's an amazing perspective, though, because that shows you how much you care for your children, because
Yeah,
you're
it's like
thinking of them first as
it
opposed
just
to
changes you
yeah.
completely. And so then anyway, from that streams all other sorts of like things, where like I have realized that, while my parents gave me an amazing perspective on, dream big, you can achieve anything you want, do whatever you want to be, and like all that support. Because I know people who, have come here to like pursue their dream, but maybe their parents don't support them. And I can't even imagine not having that foundation, right? It's like, it's already hard enough. So having, supportive parents that tell you and help you achieve your dreams, I'm grateful forever for that. But my parents didn't have an education, so there were so many things that I see like I lacked growing up, and now I'm like teaching my children at such a young age, where I never knew this when I was growing up, like at all. Like they're like, "Oh, why are we not going to school on Monday, mommy?" I'm like, "Okay, well, let me explain to you why. It's MLK Day, and this is why, and this is what happened, and this is what we do, and we are all equal. We treat everyone, and we respect everyone the same." And I didn't grow up with that.
Yeah.
And not that my parents were like, racist or anything, but it's like it wasn't talked about. And I just think that even if we're not, disrespecting, but like even to like say it, you know what I mean? Just like small things like that. And, my having a daughter, like, and okay, like now I go back to like maybe, growing up in a smaller town in Mexico where maybe like, people are like mentality, or I don't know, like just little things that they're like not the same for like generations or whatever. So my son, if he wants to try like nail polish on, my dad freaks out a little bit, like, "Oh, that's for girls." I'm just like, really? Like, it's literally a boy. He's 5 years old. He's just like trying it, like, and let him be. You know what I mean? It's like just things where it's like, don't freak out for like, it's just generational, and just I feel like things that I explain to kids, to my kids, or even if they're in the park with other children, and it's like treat them like they're adults. Like you can explain things to them and tell them and teach them, because literally they absorb it.
Absolutely.
So anyway, just having children just literally like flips you over, and like
sounds like you're a great mom, so that's good. You're teaching them the right way. So yeah, so we're going to jump into a quick game I call one sentence or silence. I mentioned this to you, so I'm going to tell you actor or director that you work with, and you got to give me one quick sentence about them, good or bad. And if you stay silent, that means they suck. So all right. So the first person I'm going to say to you is Chris Kattan.
I'm just kidding. Okay. I wish I would have had a scene with him. I didn't. I literally was like, we didn't have a scene together, and that's my only disappointment about that. Because
all right.
Yes.
Aaron Tveit.
Very professional, and I wish he would sing more. He has an amazing voice, and he would just burst out singing sometimes, and I'd be like, please keep going. Oh my God.
Robert Lasardo.
Oh my God. Again, I wish I had a scene with him. That is my only disappointment. I do not have a scene with him.
There you go. All right. Danya Ramirez.
Sweetest girl ever. I love her. She's like my sister.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Hilarious. Funny. I hope I get to work with him again. Again, one of those people that it's a pleasure to work with. And that I was like, I'm working with Lou. Like,
he's a legend. Cool.
Yep.
Charlie Day.
Man. It's not silence. It's just, I don't even know how to put it. Like, that man is like so warm, so giving. Honestly, Charlie is like, he gave me a big opportunity, and I will always be grateful to him. And he's amazing.
Awesome. Ken Jeong.
So funny, so funny, so funny, and so sweet.
Susan Lucci.
Oh my God, kindest, sweetest woman. Like, just tiny. You want to hug her, and she's so sweet.
Adrienne Grenier.
This is I was just, I don't know. I literally, I had just started acting, and I met him when I was like doing background. So
On one of my favorite shows, Entourage. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's how I got my SAG card. So,
Awesome.
but I have a better story from that, but it's like one sentence. But that's where I met Frank Darabont, from like director of one of my favorite movies too.
Oh,
The Shawshank Redemption.
amazing.
So
That's
I was like,
sweet.
hey, Ukrainian, I don't care. Frank Darabont, like, because he was guest starring on that episode, and he talked to me and everything, and I was just like dying.
That is awesome. That's the perfect end to that. You did well there. So if you could be cast in 2 dream roles, any budget, what are those 2 roles? Doesn't matter, television or movie. Go, Edy.
I've always said I want to be like a rock star type singer or whatever, but like lately, since I did Free Dead or Alive, I feel like I want to do some sort of like superhero action thing. So now I'm like, I don't know anymore. Maybe it's a rock star singer that becomes a superhero, so I can do both. And then
wait a minute, isn't that Gem?
Is it? Did she become a superhero?
I think they already killed that.
Do it again. But then I also want to do something like I don't know. I want to play some real, like a drama. I want to play a woman that, because I feel like I've played this kind of like girl next door. She's got her like, can I say the word SHIT? She's got her like shit together. Like it's like very kind of like clean everything. I like feel like I want to work on a project where like this woman is going through some shit. Like she's something happening, whether it's like a mental illness or drug addiction or just like something rock bottom, and like maybe we see her like fight through it and come.
There we go. Maybe a new age Girl Interrupted type
Yeah,
thing.
I don't know,
That'd be
something a
cool.
little more, because I feel like I kind of want to dive into something like that.
Okay, I have to interrupt for 1 second, if I may, please.
No.
First of all, Steve Gray, thank you for joining us. We plugged your show on Tuesday with CJ coming up. That is awesome. But Brandon,
yes,
I
sir.
have a studio audience guest that would like to ask a question, please.
Yes, CJ. Our one question from CJ. Yes, meet Edy. Edy, CJ.
Hi.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hi, hello.
Hola.
How you doing? I love your energy. It's like I've been listening to the interview, and I was just like, whoa, you got a lot of energy. It's great. I
told Brandon, I'm like, hey, you're gonna have to like stop me, because if you let me, I'm gonna like keep talking forever.
Hey, Latinos, we just talk.
It's like, what? It's been 2 hours. Oh shoot.
And then she was saying there is like a regional dialect. I'm from the border, La Frontera, so it's like you do have to kind of learn the regional dialect plus actually English and then Spanish, and you just kind of cluster it all together, and then you gotta sort it out. And then it's hey kids, but it's so I was looking at I was going you're talking, I was like, oh, she's going through like my acting career like too. I did have a question, but Brandon basically asked it right before I got on. But I had a second, third, and fourth question, so I was okay.
There you go.
It was because I know you liked writing, and I did find on your IMDb the Rockstar role or Daredevil you were talking about. So I was like, what would you do if you were your own? You could write your own role, but now that I get to see you a little bit more in like in this interview and watching you, I'm like, you know what? You're a Disney character. What Disney character are you? If you could be anyone, or it can be any. It could be anything. You could be a watch, a car, a princess, a dragon, whatever you want.
When I was little, I was obsessed with Sleeping Beauty, and she's like blonde, like I'm like, I want to be blonde. I used to want to be blonde so bad. There was like no representation. I was literally like, why am I not blonde? Like, you see all these blondes, and I literally like Sleeping Beauty because at the end her dress changes from blue to pink, from blue to pink, and I was like, I want that dress. But now, like, you grow up and you start to see these like more badass roles. Like I really, really like Anna from Frozen because I think she's just badass. Like Elsa is great with her powers, but like I feel like Anna is just like
the feisty one.
Yeah, I just like her attitude, and I know there's other cool princesses. I can't remember right now. Like, there's Brave, like, but I don't know. I just really like Anna because she's also so quirky and funny, and I just like, I feel like I identify with that personality.
All right, yeah. No,
awesome.
It's great. Thank you.
Thank you, CJ. Thank you.
See you next time.
All right. So Edy, what were we gonna say, Joe?
I was gonna say if I had to pick a role from that particular movie, I'd be Olaf.
Oh, I love that. He's so funny.
There we
I mean, you
go.
know what? That Frozen movie, I feel like it's just they did so good with it.
So Eddie, so we always ask our guests, our special guests, for words of wisdom, nuggets of encouragement or discouragement, depending on which way you want to go with it. And you've been dropping a lot of it throughout the whole interview, but just give us a brief, our audience, some brief words of wisdom. We have a lot of actors and filmmakers like CJ that just came up on the screen, and different people watching, like Alexis who's out here, and Steve Gray. Thank you for watching,
Thank
and
you.
yeah, there you go. Take the stage, Eddie.
You know, I feel like okay, I'm not like the expert on anything like that, but you know, it's like I've been doing this for a few years, so what I know is what I've learned so far from my experiences, and I think that what I've learned is that it's a little bit of what we talked about before, that you do have to see and look back, you know, the little accomplishments that you've had, because it's a tough career, and I think this goes for anything and everything you do. um that, you know, you struggle and nothing is like, oh, here is like handed to you, right? So in order to keep strong, to keep positive, to like get up if you fall, you have to just look back and realize that you've been doing well all along. You've been, you know, getting through your challenges day after day, and all you have to do is believe in yourself, because you're your biggest cheerleader. You realize that yes, you have managers or you have agents who fight for you and cheer for you, but in the end, it's one of those things where like it always goes back to self-love, self-respect. You know, it's like you have to take care of yourself. And I think lately I've been trying to even work on this myself, because after having kids, I feel like I just kind of was like going through the motions of life, and I even lost myself a little bit, you know. And now I'm putting such a big emphasis on just realizing that all these like cliches in life that you're like, you hear this all the time, you read this all the time, you're like quotes, you know, whatever. But it's like, I guess it's just the older you get, you're just like, it's so true. You just, you know, you have this one life. You have to just make sure that you do what you want, that you enjoy what you do, that you're happy, and that you basically just find your happiness and just wake up each and every day and follow whatever it is that is your dream. And we all have bad days. We all have like, okay, doubts, and is this gonna ever work? Like I've asked myself so many times, oh my God, am I ever gonna book another role? And I was like, but like, it's just like, why are you even questioning? But like, we all have that. And so it's just like, know that everyone has their hard, difficult moments, but like all you have to always do, no matter what you do, especially if you're in this industry, believe in yourself, believe in yourself, believe in yourself, and keep going, keep going, keep up going. Don't give up.
Amazing, eloquently spoken. Thank you. So Eddie, tell us what's
Not so
upcoming.
eloquent, but anyway, it's
Oh, it was the point was driven in. Definitely believe in yourself, and I tell people that all the time, and I tell myself that because
be
we
kind.
need to tell ourselves that there. So we
I
need
think
mental health is a big issue. Obviously, it's always been, but even more so these days. So it's important that we realize that and be good to ourselves, because that's how we get up every day and keep doing this tough stuff that we do. So
and people remember how you treat them, you know, as well. So like, be kind. Be like, people will remember how you behaved and how you treated others.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us what's upcoming for Eddie, film, television, anything.
Well, I just literally recently was working on a different sitcom. It's called Bob Hearts of Ishola. The last episode I did just aired, and right now it's supposed to be pilot season. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. But I also have kind of just a conglomerate of like scripts coming my way from people I've worked with before, and I'm kind of trying to be more hands-on with producing, to like just make stuff happen, because I feel like if these things are coming and, you know, I don't want them sitting there. I want them to like happen.
Absolutely.
So I'm starting to try to do that as well, even though I don't have a lot of experience there, but I'm like, all right, you know,
There you go. There you go. We have to talk more then. I have some cool roles. So there you go. All right. Yeah. So thank you so much, Edy. You were amazing. I know you said you want to be a rock star in a movie, but you're already a rock star in my book. So yeah. So just keep what you're doing. You're a great
I just
parent. You're a
wasn't
great
born with a book.
actress. Well, there you go.
One more thing, Edy, where can people find you on your socials if they wanted to research your work?
Oh yeah, and that's what I kind of always, keep people posted on what I'm doing, what's going on. It's mostly I do Instagram. I do have Facebook and Twitter. I don't have TikTok. I feel like I'm here to create an account and spend all my time there. But all of them are my name, Edy Ganem, for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Edy, for your time tonight. We appreciate it. I'm sure we'll cross paths again in the near future. Hopefully, keep fighting, keep being a great parent, keep doing what you do. So, because it's good. So, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You
Thank
too.
Thank you. It was great seeing you. Bye. Wow, what a great guest. She was awesome. I would have loved to delve in just a hair into her indie movies.
Yes, we'll definitely have her on again. Like I know she had a less time tonight, but yeah, we'll definitely bring her back on because again, there's a lot of things in my cheat sheets in front of me that I would have loved to have delved in a little more. But yeah, we definitely will talk about a lot of the projects. It's like she's like I said, she's being modest, and that's cool because she's awesome, and you should be humble. But I mean, she has a great body.
That much experience.
Yeah, she has a great body of work, and just the amazing talent that she's worked with, and just to have done as much as she's done at the point she is in her career. I mean, it's amazing to find individuals that stay humble because not all of them are. I've run into some that are not that humble. So thank you, Steve. I appreciate it, buddy, and thank you for the graphics. We appreciate it. Everybody, just want to give a shout out to my man Steve. Go check out his Candlelit Room on YouTube. There's some amazing stuff on there. There's the graphic for it. He's also on Tuesday night going to talk to my man CJ Robles on CJ on actually coming. Yeah, there, I got it right. So yeah, thank you, Steve. Thank you, CJ, for that amazing question and all the questions for tonight. Thank you, everybody that came and watched. Alexis, Violet, if you're out there watching, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Joe, so are you ready for Cocoa Beach this weekend in the HorrorCon?
Cocoa Beach, I am there. What are we looking at? In about 12 hours, I'll be there. So that's exciting. Yeah, right?
About how far of a drive is that for you?
Well, depending on traffic, anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
So not too bad, but then again,
not terrible.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person who doesn't wake up before noon. So.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be a little rough for you to get up and get some coffee in you or whatever 5-hour energy, whatever gets you to the place. So.
We're going to be drinking the industrial 48-ounce can of something.
Awesome. Well, have a blast, man. Have a drink for me. I wish I was there, but we definitely down the road will do some horror cons and all types of different things to represent the Indie Escape. And that being said, thank you to all the Indie Escape members that are watching. Thank you, even if you're not. All of you guys keep me going every week because you guys have awesome shows that started before me. So I'm just trying to keep the flag waving. So from CJ to Gabe to Daniela and Ray to Steve to Mick to
Scott.
Our man Scott with his amazing puppetry. So yeah, and of course Dave and Scott on Sunday nights for End of the Night that they started it started this whole train going. So I appreciate all of you guys. So, and of course you, the man with the Indie Escape Plan, Joe, you're always appreciated. I thank you for having my back on these shows every night, my friend.
I thank you. It's
definitely
my pleasure. I'm glad you're doing it because I didn't want to do all that work for the past few years for nothing.
Oh man, I'm glad I'm glad we're doing it because I think we're going to continue to grow this Indie Escape Nation, and yeah, just get voices in, people watching. Dugan and Drinks with Joe Ridgely, yes.
Well, Dugan and I are supposed to hang out tomorrow night, and I actually heard from I don't know if you remember Terry DJ Gerald from that other network.
Yes.
Drone Jesus.
Drone Jesus. Yes.
He may be there as well.
Awesome. He's got some amazing footage. Yeah, that guy's again another talented soul that I met through these airwaves on Friday nights once upon a time. So again, any other shout outs, Joe? Like is Scott on tomorrow night?
Scott. What's tomorrow night?
Saturday.
No, he's going to premiere. I believe they're going to premiere February 5th.
February 5th. Okay. But we might get some live feed from you from the show, possibly, or
if the internet's up and it's strong enough, I am going to try to do that. I may actually kind of talk to CJ later to see if he may be able to let me feed into one of his things to broadcast on the Escape. But
awesome.
We'll see what happens. It's much easier that way than me trying to do it myself.
Okay, cool. All right, well, have a blast, my friend. Like I said, have a drink on me, or 2 or 3, and So again, thanks to Edy Ganem for being an amazing guest tonight. Thank you to all the Indie Escape members for watching, spending a little bit of your Friday nights with us. It's much appreciated. And that's about it. So everybody, have a great weekend, and remember, believe in the power of yourself and the right others. Peace, everybody. Have a good night.